You're now watching the Gobcast. Viewer discretion is advised. You can now watch the Gobcast in 4K uncensored exclusively on Spotify.
Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome back to the Gobcast, episode 84. We're getting pretty deep into it at this point. Every week, we're crawling a little bit closer to episode 100, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited about that. Thank you all for tuning in once again. It's a pleasure having you, to say the least. I appreciate you all being here. And this week, we have yet another wonderful caller episode. A caller episode that, as wild as this one's about to get, will feel like almost relaxing compared to the Brandon Novak episode that we just dropped last week, which was a little off the rails. You know, he was talking about letting dudes blow him for $10 and putting rocks in his ass. And that's something that I hope I don't have to hear about this week. This week, what I do want to hear about is things that you got away with. So I want you to call in, and I asked everybody to tell me something they did in their life that they got away with. And it could be anything. It could be a crime. It could be, something completely legal that maybe they just shouldn't have done. Maybe, they just snuck around and did something they shouldn't have, or I don't know, had an affair of some sort. Anything you got away with in your life and you feel like maybe you shouldn't have gotten away with it, I really wanted to hear about it. And I'll tell you guys right now, today, I was not disappointed with the calls I received. We have someone who claims they got away with hitting a child on an e-bike. I don't really know why you'd call in and share that, but they did, and they sounded proud of it. They described it as being worth it. We have someone who stole jewelry from a store that they worked at, someone who decided to smash the drive-through pharmacy window at a Walgreens. Numerous hit and runs were called in today. We got a little bit of everything in this one, and I'm excited to dive into these calls, but before we do, I got to say real quick, a very urgent announcement, okay? Listen up. Our Instagram was banned, not just temporarily suspended or anything like that. The official Gobcast Instagram was banned, all right? We have a new temporary placeholder account while we work on getting unbanned that you guys need to follow in the meantime, because if you want to call into this show, that's now where you do it. Now, our @ has only changed by one single digit. There's a dot between the and Gobcast now. So if you go on Instagram and type in the.gobcast, or you scroll down and click the link below, you can follow us on Instagram and stay up to date with the exact time and day we're taking calls and what phone number to call, which I got to remind you once again, there might be some new people around here who don't know about it. Just follow us on Instagram. Check our story. If you're ever curious what day we're going to take calls, if we don't have a story posted that day, we're not taking calls that day. If we do have a story posted, it's more than likely that it's a phone number that you can call from, because that is the only reason I ever post a story on the Gobcast account. We don't post anything else on our story. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and talk about some things that we got away with today. And let's start in particular with the guy who ran over a child on an e-bike and seems kind of proud of it. Let's listen in.
Hey, Gob, so I actually just got done with a f***ing case.
Okay.
It's a pretty heavy thing, but I think the outcome will be well worth. I hit a kid.
What do you mean well worth it? Like, bro, it's literally, I just choked on my own fucking. What do you hit a kid on eBay instead of being like, oh, dude, like, I feel really bad. I hit a child. He's a small child. I could have injured him. Like, I feel, hopefully the outcome is good and I get out of this without going to prison. He's just like, dude, it was worth it. It'll be well worth it once the outcome arrives, Like, he sued the kid or something. Dude, he blew the red. This kid blew a fucking red light. It's his fault.
But, yeah, I hit a kid on an e-bike. And the kid was going pretty fast, so, man.
Oh, dude, imagine the way I picture this scenario before I even call him is I imagine him like pulling out of a parking lot or something. And there's like one of those crosswalks where like, there's a sidewalk and you're supposed to wait before that to see if anyone's coming. And this kid is probably on his little e-bike just fucking flying to his homie's house. They're about to go play hacky sack, right? In comes this guy's Ford F-150, and this kid is doing a somersault 20 feet in the fucking air, right? Like, that's how I'm envisioning this.
I just got done with court today for that, though.
Nice.
So, My name's Michael. Goodbye.
Thanks, Michael. All right, now let's call him. I want to hear about this, dude. Did the kid get any airtime from this? That's what I really want to know. Wait, why is it not ringing? There's just like a... It's just like a eerie silence here. Hello? What is happening? It's almost like there was like a weird sound in there, but it didn't ring. Let's call him again. Maybe second time's the charm. Oh, there we go. It's ringing now. It's ringing now.
Hello.
Yo, you're on the Gobcast. You mind being recorded?
Yeah, go for it. What's up?
Yo, you sound kind of like, I heard you smile a little bit there, dude. I feel like this isn't something you should be happy about with, the voicemail you left.
Okay, so all things considered, I'm happy with the outcome,
Okay. All right.
So, you want me to walk you through it?
Yeah, walk me through the day you hit a kid on an e-bike. Like, describe this for me. I have a picture in my head, but I'm curious how close I am.
Okay. I was bringing something to my younger sister at her school that she left at home. And, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. Sun's beaming into my eyes. And I turn, and as I'm turning, there's a kid coming like opposite side of me on an e-bike. And I click the back of him. He's okay though. He was cleared by medics on scene, thankfully, but like,
he's like totally okay. Like,
as far as I've heard, yeah, I haven't gotten anything back from like insurance, as far as like damages to the bike or anything. But
in 5 years, dude, his arm's gonna look like a boomerang, probably. Like he's too young to realize it. How fast do you think he was going?
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was like I'm pretty sure it was like a class 3 e-bike, so pretty fast. Like I didn't see him until I hit him, and he like it was like the very corner of my car, and like the very back of his e-bike that hit.
Okay, all right. So you didn't kill the kid. He's all right. But what was the damage to your car? Like what did it end up looking like?
I mean, it's a little up. Like, took a couple chunks of the bumper out and like cracked it, but I don't really give a shit. So it's all good.
So how did you end up in court for this? Like, what happened to you after you hit this kid?
Okay, so it was a month before I turned 21, and I had a pack of cigs sitting in my door.
Oh.
Yeah. And so that's what they got me for. They searched the car because, obviously.
Oh, and you were riding around with some shit you shouldn't have had?
Yeah. So, and like, I didn't have anything on me except for like a vape, but in my car I had so much just like old dispos and shit, like nothing too crazy, but I was like, holy, like, damn.
So they got you on possession charges, and hitting the kid was just the catalyst for this event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, dude, you should have dished the carts on him, bro. Like while he was down on the ground, you should have just loaded his little backpack up with disposables and cigarettes and shit.
Like
this badass little delinquent ass kid smoking cigarettes and flooring it on his e-bike while I'm trying to turn into the school. You probably could have gotten away with that.
I probably could have, yeah.
So then fill me in on what happens when they're searching your car. I mean, what exactly do they pull out?
I mean, just like, I'm pretty sure they took one of my favorite lighters too, which I don't know if they were able to. But yeah, like a whole bunch of shit that I forgot about. I don't even know what all they took, but yeah, it was just like pretty much a free cleaning for my car in a way.
So then what did you end up actually going to court for? Like what were the actual charges?
So I had a misdemeanor for the possession, and then an infraction.
Okay.
And yeah, the judge was like, "Oh, it's like this could carry up to like 180 days in jail, blah blah blah." But then my the prosecutor was talking to me. He was like, "You know what? I'm gonna dismiss it. You just got to deal with the infraction." So instead of paying like 800 or 600, I think it was, I only got to pay like 160 for the infraction.
Damn. So you kind of, in a sense, you hitting a kid costs $150 is basically what you're telling me.
Exactly. Yeah, like my insurance hasn't gone up yet, but I mean this all happened last month, so I don't know how quick that'll take effect. But yeah, like insurance hasn't raised or anything. All I got to do is pay $160 to the court, and then I'm back to worry-free living about that shit.
I don't know, dude. I mean, if I was your insurer, I'd probably crank your rates up pretty fat for that, dude. If I found out you made little Timmy do a flip, I'd for sure crank your shit up.
Yeah.
But
I mean, thankfully, I did have dash cam footage.
Okay. Well, that makes it better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Dude.
because the prosecutor was like, "Oh, you're the one with that dash cam footage," because you could see, like, you barely saw the kid in the footage. Because, the sun was just beaming, like I said.
Damn. Did you ever what did you say to the kid when you hit him? Like, how did you react initially? I'm intrigued. Like, were you like, "Oh, I'm sorry"?
Okay,
You're like, did you like run up to him, or like what happened?
Yeah. I like ran up to him. I was like, "Oh shit, are you okay?" I called 911. And are you familiar with the Malcolm in the Middle?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch a ton of it, but yeah, I know the show.
Okay, well, there's an episode where this kid's like bullying Malcolm, and then Malcolm beats the shit out of him, and it turns out it was his birthday. That's kind of what the feeling was like, because he was like, I was asking how old he was. He's like, "I'm 14. Oh no, 15. My birthday was yesterday." And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
fuck,
15.
man."
Wait, he was 15? Wait, that kid's old enough. Oh, never mind. What I was picturing like a 6-year-old.
No, oh, God, no.
This
Yeah,
dude
I
was
would've
fit.
been-
That's
I would be
man.
feeling
Are
a
you
lot
kidding? That's bro. His balls have dropped. Are you kidding me? He can handle that shit. Tell him walk it off. You should have left.
Yeah.
I would have dipped.
No.
I 100% would have dipped, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty bloodied up. I will say that. Like, he took that pavement.
Okay, so he wasn't totally fine. You made it sound like he got up and was just like like it was just like he tripped.
No, he was crying and shit, because like I said, he was going fast. So I kind of did launch him off his bike,
Oh shit. I mean, okay, well, I was picturing like a fucking 8-year-old. So, I mean, dude,
Oh yeah.
at 15 years old, you're old enough to like, I don't know, smoke weed and like rob a store. So like I have less sympathy. Like, you're old enough to like you can deal with that. So yeah, you should have just pulled off, man. You should
That
have
is true, yeah.
left. You should have left. But hey,
Oh.
I'm glad you dealt with it in court, dude, and I'm glad the kids you hit was moderately okay. And hopefully your insurance doesn't go up, dude. Thank you for calling in and sharing.
Oh, of course. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You take care, man.
You have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Dude, the whole I'm picturing like him pulling into an elementary school or some shit and just making this little 8-year-old do a fucking somersault. And then at the end, he just sneaks in. He's like, "Well, yeah, I asked him how old he was, and he said he turned 15 yesterday." Like, bro, come on, dude. 15's not even that young for that, that reminds me, I had a friend who got hit by a car on his bike riding to school when we were that exact age. We were freshmen in high school. He was 14, and he got hit by a car. My boy Anuj, shout out to Anuj, if he's out there in the world somewhere. He got hit by, I think it was a bus actually, even, but it was like pretty minor. It was a very slow thing. But I remember he came back to school in a cast, and then we did this whole thing in class to like, hype him up when he came back. Like, oh, dude, it's so great you're okay, that you didn't die under the bus. Like this guy could have killed my boy, in a different timeline. So thankfully, I mean, hey, the kid was old enough to deal with it, though. Am I right? I mean, a little bloodied up at 18 years or 15 years old. Anything that says teen after it, like, okay, you can handle that. Like a 10-year-old, okay, you're still a kid. Like 14, 15, it's like, all right, bro. I mean, I had homies getting hit by cars in that age range. All right, next up, we have someone who, I mean, this voicemail is honestly kind of a mess. They talk about being the head bear stuffer at Build-A-Bear Workshop, but that has nothing to do with the call because they got a different job and started stealing jewelry, and that had nothing to do with Build-A-Bear. So I guess they're just proud of the Build-A-Bear thing. Maybe trying to use that to make them seem like a better person. I don't judge. I don't care if you worked at Build-A-Bear. And in fact, I haven't been to Build-A-Bear in probably 20 years. So, like, I don't care, but let's listen in.
Hey, Goblin. So let's talk about things that I got away with that I shouldn't have, that taught me a lot about who I am as a person.
Okay.
So when I was 18, I worked at the mall.
This guy really reflected on this shit, dude. When I worked at the mall, I would just take a bunch of Xanax and pass out in the bathtub display. And then just go buy vape juice at the smoke shop 2 doors down. And, like, that was my life. This guy, I never reflected on that. This guy's, he clearly did.
Typical 18-year-old needed some kind of money, so found a retail job.
Okay.
Worked at Build-A-Bear for a little bit. Hated that, had stuffed bears. I was officially the head bear stuffer while there for about a year. But that's not the point. The point
I wonder if head bear stuff, like, do you get a 401k and, like, some benefits with that? Or, like, what's head bear stuffer getting? Is that just manager?
is left that, found another retail job at the mall at a place where I made jewelry. Did like watch repairs, little things like that. And it was a pretty chill job. Kind of just watching Netflix on my phone the whole day. Every blue moon, someone would come in for like a battery change, a band switch, something like that. So it was a really chill job.
Now, what I remember about watch repair places in the mall is they will steal the genuine parts out of your watch and swap like shitty stuff in. There was a watch repair place in the mall when I was younger, and I had a couple friends who, like, they didn't have Rolexes or anything, but they just had like normal cheap watches. And bro, you'd bring it in there, it was always sketchy. They always would take like a month to repair your shit, and you get it back, and like it just wasn't. It was weird. And if you went and read their reviews, they're closed down now. I think the whole mall is dead as fuck now. But if you went online and read their Google reviews, it was insane. Like, they had like a 2.4-star rating, and they were running that shit for probably a decade, dude. So this might be the dickhead who was stealing the fucking dial on my watch.
Watched Netflix like the whole 2 years I was there, but towards the end, started realizing there was like no one ever there, and we had this safe in the back that was kind of like all the returns and jewelry pickups that people were supposed to come get. So when I finished a job, I'd put it in the safe. And over the year, I noticed there was a lot of stuff that kept going in that safe that never, ever left the safe. So I think you can kind of guess where this is going. And towards the end of my stay there, I started realizing that it was really easy to take out watches and chains and rings out of that safe that had been there for maybe like a year or two that no one ever would come and pick up, or maybe they died. I don't know.
That's kind of morbid, dude. I mean, theft from the employer is one of the sketchiest crimes that you can commit because they know exactly who you are. Like, once they catch you doing it, you're fucked. If you steal in a lot of other circumstances, there's still the element of like, okay, well, the person you stole from might not know who did it. Like, they might not know who you are. Even if they have like a camera, video of you doing it, they might not know who you are. But when you steal from your employer, you're just fucked. And that's why it's something I never really did when I was younger on like a large scale or anything like that. I mean, I remember when I worked at Jewel, oh, dude, I stole alcohol out of there while I was at work. I would steal like, I'd sometimes grab a little snack on my way to the break room or out the door, just grab some shit off the shelf. I stocked shelves, so it made it really easy. But I never like had some grand scheme where I was pawning the shit from the safe at my workplace. Like, that's next level. At one point, when I worked at the Lexus dealership. I was working the cash register for a bit, and surprisingly, people would come in and buy cars with large amounts of cash pretty often. There's one time some guy came and he brought like tens of thousands of dollars in cash, and it took us all hours to count that shit. And that was one of the days I was most tempted. I was like, yo, I could take this right now, go get a tent, live in the woods for a year till everything dies down, fucking have this big stack of cash. Thank God I didn't do that.
And yeah, over the course of that, towards the end of that 2-year stint there, I probably took about $30,000-$40,000 worth of jewelry out of the safe.
Oh my God.
And took it to a pawn shop.
Brother.
And the boy was smoking good for the rest of college off of that. Not really the best case of use of that money, but got me through a lot of cold nights, got me through a lot of those late classes. So yeah, something I should not have gotten away with. Think about it a lot. Managed to steal a lot of money from a jewelry store I worked at when I was 18, and never looked back. Never stolen.
This is the kind of thing that would genuinely burn a hole in my brain for a long time. I would be tweaking about this for so long. I mean, we're about to call this guy right now, but I would genuinely be tripping. It sounds like he is too. I mean, he says himself that this is on his mind often, so can't blame him. Head bear stuffer, dude. Turn to crime. Build-A-Bear doesn't pay enough money, dude. This economy's all fucked up. Shit's cooked out here, dude. You better pick up, buddy. You better pick up, dude. He's back stuffing bears.
Please leave.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. We won't. All right. We'll send him a message. Let's see if he's free in a minute. This is a new method I use. I text people when they miss the call to see if they'll then be free for the call later. Well, while we wait on him to respond, I guess it's my turn to talk about some shit that I got away with. You know, I've gotten away with plenty of shit in my life, as you've probably heard if you've watched any of the content I've put out over the years outside of these podcasts. And I think when I look back at the kind of shit I got away with, a lot of it was very mundane to me because my specialty was getting away with, you know, stupid minor crimes. I stole all the time when I was younger. I would get pulled over with tons of illicit shit in my car, and I got away with a lot of it because I just looked the way I do, you know? I mean, I'm a normal-looking white dude with no tattoos. I don't look threatening in any way, and, you know, here I am just sitting here. So a lot of the time, I really took advantage of that, and I really, I ran that shit to the dirt. That was always my upper hand. Whenever my friends wanted a bottle from the store, they wanted me to go steal something, I was the guy they'd send in to do it. And I was always happy to do it because I knew I was going to get away with it. I knew I was going to get exactly what I came in for almost every single time I did it. And I think that confidence also helped me get away with a lot of shit too. When you go in, you know, I stole a fuckload when I was younger. Every store in my town despised a guy like me. I was a true menace, dude. All the grocery stores were getting hit. Walgreens got fucked. Walmart, I fucked all the time. Specifically, Walmart really got the brunt of my aggression. You know, one time, back when Walmart was still 24 hours, back when America was still a real country, I went into Walmart at like 2 a.m. and I went to the electronics section. I don't know if it was actually 2 a.m., but it was late. I remember it was night. I went in and I went to the electronics section, and this girl just opened the sliding door for me. And I remember grabbing a Nintendo DS. Like, she handed it to me, you know? She literally just opened the fucking door. No alarm on the DS, mind you. This is a different time, dude. It was literally like 2016, if I remember correctly. No alarm on the DS. So I literally, in my winter jacket, just put it in my inner pocket and walked straight out the fucking door. Just straight, I dipped. The girl who pulled it out for me, she's like, okay, you got to pay for it up front. And I was supposed to meet her up there, and I just left. I just left the store. And nothing happened. No one pursued me. No one said anything. I just walked right out the door. And I used to do that all the fucking time. I had this tactic at Walmart. Some of you guys who have watched my content, you've heard in depth about how I got arrested stealing from Walmart, but I haven't talked as much about the times where I got away with it. I used to have this little strategy when I needed some money to buy whatever I needed to buy, usually a big bag of weed or sometimes a big bag of Zans. You know, in high school, those are my two favorites. But I didn't have blow money yet in high school, unfortunately. But either way, I had this little tactic I figured out where I used to take those big plastic storage totes that you have in like your garage or maybe your attic if you live in a big house. And I would put one in my cart and take the lid off and just put the lid to the side. And the barcodes for these, if you scan them, are always on the outside for some reason. Just always. They were on the outside of the tote. So I put the tote in my cart, and looking back at it, it looked super suspicious. But when you look like I do, it kind of doesn't look very suspicious. So I went in there, and I used to go, some of you may remember when Walmart and pretty much every store, Target had these too, they would have these big bins of discount media. It was Blu-rays, DVDs, Xbox games, PlayStation games, the whole shebang. And on their own, they were pretty cheap. You know, you'd have maybe at most a $10 to $20 game would be in that bin. But they were mostly the only games that were loose with no alarm, right? Everything else, if you wanted to go get a $60 game out of the glass that someone had to come get, you had to get an employee to get it for you, which made it a little harder, and that shit had an alarm on it. They would usually have those plastic cases, you know? So Best Buy sucks. They use those plastic cases for everything, and it sucks. Or they just have those little, like, X-shaped alarms. Either way, I would fill up the whole storage tote as high as I could with a bunch of video games. I would try to go for the video games because the DVDs and Blu-rays don't really resell for anything. But I would have like 20 fucking Lego Batman games. Or like I would have like, because there's only 3 games, you know, 3 or 4 different games in this bin, but there's a million of them. So I would literally have like 10 to 20 copies of each game in the fucking bin, fill up a tote, close it up, go to self-checkout at Walmart and pay for the tote. And then I would just walk out with it. I showed my receipt, and I did this numerous times without getting caught successfully. Once I got out with the totes, I always had to think with myself, like, how do I get rid of this many Batman games in order to get an ounce of fucking weed? And the answer was just go to every single GameStop and pawn shop in the area. You know, like spread it out. There was other game stores too that I'd also go to. It wasn't just GameStop, but I'd spread it out. You know, I'd pull up, at most give 2 copies of the same game to each store, you know, and I'd be like, oh yeah, me and my little brother both had copies so we could play together on our consoles, and now we're both selling them to get the new ones or whatever. Just some bullshit ass story, which at GameStop, like, bro, they're not the feds. They don't care. Like, as long as if I walked in and sold like 10 copies of each game, they'd be like, all right, dude. And they're all still wrapped in the seal too. That's another thing. I would usually take the seal off and like open it at least for the first time, so it didn't seem completely brand new, because selling sealed games is pretty, you know, it's pretty sketchy. That's not. It's like, all right, bro, you came in to pawn 5 copies of Lego Batman. They're all sealed, dude. What's cracking with that? But I would sell it all for cash and just get away with it. And it worked until finally I got arrested for felony retail theft. I think it was like the 4th time I did it, if I remember correctly. I actually got caught and got arrested, got it reduced to a misdemeanor in court. And honestly, looking back at it, still worth it at the time. I don't care. The first 3 times I did it, I would usually make like $200 to $250 after I sold all the games. Sometimes it was a little less, but I remember the most I ever made was around $250. And that was like big money at the time. Dude, that was huge. I mean, when you're 16, you got fuck all, and you're trying to get high with your dumbass friends. Like, dude, $250 is Bill Gates money. Like, buddy, I just sold my stake in Microsoft. Like, that's fucking huge. Another thing that I got away with that's a little more serious that I've talked about online before is I got assigned. I've, in my life total, been assigned to about 450 community service hours. And that is actually, no, it's about 500 in total. I forgot the first time I got them. But I was on probation back in like 2017, and I got sentenced to, I believe it was 200 for that instance. And I had those 200 hours, and I only actually did about 20 of them. I went to this place where they would sign these little like permission slips saying you did your service. And I realized pretty quickly as I was coming in to do my hours where they stored that stack of slips. So I went in for about like 20 real hours of service. I saved all my slips because the way it would work is they'd sign your slip saying you did your service, and then you'd bring them all in at the end to show like, hey, look, I did all this service. They'd add it up and be like, cool, you did your service. Like, you know, PO's all good. Everyone's satisfied in that scenario, right? So I got like 20 hours worth of slips, and then I stole the stack. One day I went in to go volunteer, and I went to the bathroom, and I just grabbed the stack of papers and fucking left. Like, I just walked out the door and dipped. And completely fine. I went home, and that was where the real work began, because I was sitting there trying to forge all these signatures that, like, I've never forged a signature before. Like, this isn't something I'd ever done. So, like, dude, I tried tracing. I remember practicing a bunch on notebook paper because there was only like 2 or 3 people that would ever sign it. So I didn't have to learn like a million different signatures. There was only a handful of them at a time. But I'm just like filling in these times and fucking signatures and shit, which if anyone cross-checked their schedule of like, who was signing papers on this day, they would have 100% caught me and realized that I was faking these, but they didn't. I brought them all in. I got the documentation saying I did all my 200 hours of community service, and I got off probation for that, and it fucking worked. And when I look objectively at like, okay, what are the riskiest things I ever did that I got away with? That's probably it. That's probably it, because my reduction to a misdemeanor would have been forfeit. I would have gone to juvie, or it would have been jail at that point, because I became an adult while I was on probation. So it would have been, I just would have gone to jail at that point. For, I believe it was like a year. It was the same sentence as my probation, is what my PO kept telling me. She's like, if you fuck this up, because I was pissing dirty early on. She's like, if you fuck this up, like, you're going to jail for a year. You realize that, right? Like, you're not going to be able to just get more probation. Like, that's not how it works. Fuck him. In the end, she ended up liking me so much, she gave me a McDonald's gift card when I finished. She gave me a $5 McDonald's gift card when I got off probation. It was like, damn, you don't even realize I just fucked you in the ass. You know, I'm so sorry, PO. I didn't mean to do that. All right, let's see if this guy texts me back, dude. And if not, we're going to fucking... All right. I'm going to say his phone number out loud, dude. 1,000 likes on this episode. No, we're going to get 1,000. No, it needs to be a little higher than that. No, 2,000 likes on this episode, and I'm just posting this guy's shit. Like, just outright on Twitter. All right, well, next up, homeboy here used to work at a car wash and apparently has stole plenty of money from that car wash. Once again, someone stealing from their place of employment. Like, why? Just go steal. Dude, you can go to fucking Jewel-Osco or whatever your local store is and steal bottles of alcohol and sell them to alcoholics. Like, why would you steal from your place of work? The grocery store doesn't know who you are. Jewel-Osco never knew who I was. Dude, I remember I literally, before I even started doing drugs, I was stealing from Jewel, dude. That shit was a staple of my life. Me and my homies used to go in there and steal the chicken wings. Dude, they had a little cart with the fucking chicken wings out front, and you could grab a bucket, and we'd fill the bucket up and just put it in our backpack and run out the door. And because we walked past the grocery store every day on the way home from school. It was amazing, dude. I ate so much chicken in freshman year. Dude, I can't even, like, amount of chickens that died just for me and my friends to steal their meat, probably 1,000 chickens. Let's take a quick moment out of today's episode to talk about my good friends at Five, because I've got some very special news about Five. They're hooking y'all up with a completely free bag of their new Quick Hits gummies. All you got to do is pay shipping, and check out the link below. These gummies have 15 milligrams of green goodness per piece for a total of 150 milligrams of green goodness per bag. And if you're not very good at math, that's 10 gummies in the bag, completely free right to your doorstep. This is a very great value, and I'm going to be honest here, you should have a little discretion when you try these gummies because they hit fast. They're not called Quick Hits for no reason. They kick your ass and they'll kick it quickly. So check out Five. Check out the offer that's exclusive to this month only, and don't wait on it because you might miss out on the free bag. This is only while supplies last, so don't sleep. Shout out to Five for supporting the show. If you've been watching my content for a long time, you'll know that Five has been supporting us more than pretty much any other sponsor in terms of how long they've been around. So thanks once again, Five. Love you guys. Shout out all y'all for watching the show. Let's get right back into it.
Yo, what's up, Goblin? So let me get straight to the point. I used to work at a car wash. We're not gonna say the name of it, but basically I worked my way up to like supervisor and then AM. But through that whole time, I used to, we didn't take cash at there. We only took card. And I used to be like $20 car washes I would like take cash for. And I probably racked up like 1,000 off of that the whole time I was working there. One time we had
Oh, so he would just, people would pull up to the car wash and he'd just be like, yo, $20 cash and just take it all home.
like a Halloween car wash, and they gave away like free car wash cards, and I took a stack of like maybe 200-300 of them, and I just gave them out to everyone. If they had like a nice car or like my family members, I gave them out to everyone. Everyone was set with like, I think they were $14 value each. So
See, I like this one because the first half of this, I get it. It's like, all right, bro, you made some money, you stole that shit, you profited, great. But stealing 200 or 300 free car wash vouchers and just handing them out to everyone you know is just purely malicious. Like, you didn't make a dime from that. There was no benefit. You literally just said, fuck my employer, dude. I take this shit for free, everybody. I actually like that.
Probably a couple of $1,000 in that. And then we also used to, like, sometimes when it was slow, we would close down the car wash and go, like, hotbox the bathroom. And one time we did that, and, like, one of the higher ups came in, and he, like, walked in the bathroom, and it still smelled like weed, but he didn't say nothing. So, like, I got away with that, and I low-key used to do a bunch of shit at that job. But if you want to hear more about it, call me back.
So this guy's just calling in to confess to being the worst employee of all time. Like, he's just here to tell me he got away with just being a fucking horrible staff member at the local car wash. All right. Worst employee of all time, dude. Let's call him right now. Do not hire this. Yo, you're on the Gobcast.
Yo.
Am I being recorded?
Yeah, that's cool, bro.
Yo, I heard you're a fucking terrible employee, bro. What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, I low-key, yeah, I used to take cash for car washes a lot. I'm not going to lie.
How long did you work at this car wash in total?
Probably like a year and a half.
When did you start fucking around on the job?
Pretty much like 2-3 months in. I'm not gonna lie. I had like a one coworker that already like was taking cash for car washes. So he like put me on.
So how did this scheme work where you're taking cash for car washes? Because I've heard about other people calling in and talking about taking cash for whatever their job does. How did you get put onto this?
Yeah, so pretty much like people would just always come in asking if we like take cash, and we'd have to tell them no, like it's only card. But like sometimes when the manager wasn't there, we would just like, fuck it, yeah, give me the cash. And then we just put in the code, open the gate for them, and they'd be on their way.
Damn, how often were you doing this?
I mean, it's not too often that someone comes along asking like to pay with cash, but like maybe like once every other day, and I was doing it for like the whole time I worked there, pretty much.
And how much? Like, you're just taking $20, or how much money are you generally getting?
It would be like, because we have like the premium would be like, I think it was like $23, and then like the basic is like $10. So people would either have like a 10 or a 20 that they want to give away. So, feel me? I would run a $20 deal.
And what, are you just taking the money to like go buy a bag of weed, or like what are you doing with all this money? Did you stack it up?
Yeah, low key, I just stacked it up for the longest. I had like a fat ass stack, but I like bought tent for my car, which was like $300-400.
Nice.
I bought like some shoes, just random shit.
I mean, I definitely understand stealing the money. Like, that's one thing. But then you talk about stealing all the free car wash vouchers. And that's more like, damn, you just hate them. Like, you just don't like your employer, huh?
But it's because they had like a big ass box for us to give away at like in the Halloween event. But like nobody came, so we just had like a shit ton, like a big ass box.
Oh,
And
so did they like, were they kind of cool with it?
I mean, nobody really knew about it, but nobody noticed.
So you don't work here anymore, though, correct?
No, I don't work there no more.
Do you steal from your new job?
Nah, I can't. I work at a warehouse now.
Oh, yeah, they probably got that shit on lock.
Yeah, thanks.
Have you ever stolen from any
one,
other jobs, or was this just like the one job where you just fucked around the whole time?
no, yeah, that was a job, my only job that I really fucked around at, because it was just too easy. Like, they made me the supervisor really quick, and then, like, our manager got fired, so they made me the AM, like, right after that.
Oh, shit. And AM's what? Assistant manager?
Yeah, assistant manager.
Damn, so you were captain of the ship and you're pocketing $20 every other fucking day.
Yeah, and then, like, this other employee came in, and I put him on too, and he actually got caught up for it, and he didn't say nothing about me, so,
What
like, I just
happened
let
to
him
him?
take the fall as, like, taking cash. He got fired.
They didn't like call the police on him or anything? They just fired him?
No, I think they didn't, like, realize how much he was doing it too, but they just, like, told him to not do that, and then, like, eventually he just got fired.
Oh, no. Were there ever any employees who were like against it or like you couldn't do it around besides obviously like higher ups?
Yeah, just, I wouldn't do it around, like, any other employee except my friends that worked there that, like, already knew about it too.
Oh, so you
So,
just
like,
had an
probably,
inner
like,
corruption ring running here.
yeah, pretty much. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes we would tell them to, like, because there was a loader and, like, a person on the stand, like, selling memberships and stuff. So we would tell them, give the cash to the loader, and then it would look like we're getting, like, a tip.
Oh, that's smart. So you covered your ass on the cameras too.
Yep. Because there's cameras everywhere.
Damn. Were
So,
they
like,
watching
yeah.
those cameras a lot too? Like you really had to be wary of that?
Nah, they said they did, but I did it in front of the cameras every time. So, like, there was a camera directly, like, watching every single lane. So you could definitely see me taking the cash, but I don't know. They never said nothing.
Damn. Well, you know, I'm glad that you at least now work a job where you're not robbing all, you know, your employers every other day. You know, I'm glad that
Yep.
you're just in a stable warehouse now. And I'm also like, I'm kind of stunned that like only one person ever got caught for this for how long it sounds like you were doing it. Like, how the fuck are they running this place?
I mean, the people before me did it too, and they never got caught. Like, I knew
This
a
is
few
a
people that did it before
This
me,
is
so,
a tradition passed
like,
down through like
yeah,
ancestors.
damn near. Damn near.
Was there ever like, what's the most
Yeah.
you got in a day? Was there ever like a really crazy day?
Not really. I mean, it'd probably be like, I think one day I got like 120. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie.
yeah, we're up. What?
Yeah, that was a pretty good day.
That's a major day. Yup.
But yeah, and then also we would just hotbox the bathrooms a lot. Like, we'd close down the car wash a few times to hotbox the bathrooms.
Did you ever get caught doing that?
Technically, yes, but like, it was a mechanic, like a maintenance worker, and he just, like, told us to not do that. And he
Oh
didn't
yeah,
tell his manager or nothing.
he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and I was like, yep, but we still did it after that. We just, like, the next time we would just clean it. We would get Lysol on a rag and, like, wipe it on the bathroom walls and shit, and clean it before we leave.
I mean, was it like an employee only bathroom and shit?
Yeah, employee only.
Oh yeah, fuck it. Yeah, who cares, dude? Hotbox that shit every day. Who
I mean,
cares?
people were still. No, one time we hotboxed it, and some old lady, like, we had to leave real quick to deal with customers, and some old lady came into the bathroom and opened it, and, like, she didn't go in. She just, like, walked right back. So I'm assuming she got, like, a big ass whiff of fucking weed.
Well, you know what? I gotta say, I appreciate you calling in and saying this, because now I know that I probably shouldn't ever hire you if I open a business. You know?
No, I'm a good worker. Promise. I promise.
All right. Well, I won't let you handle any cash, but thank you for calling in and sharing. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah, it was a pleasure talking to you, Goblin.
Hell yeah, you too. You have a good one.
Yes, sir. You too. Later.
Bye-bye. Oh my God, dude, this just a generational tradition. I feel like that's not even the first car wash story we've heard either, but like, dude, I guess this was a way more common thing than I ever realized. Like, I just always thought, like, dude, stealing from your employers, yeah, it's dumb. Like, you're going to get caught. But, like, bro, we probably get 150 calls every week, even when the topic's not stealing, from motherfuckers who were like, Goblin, I just pocketed $20 at Subway today. And like, you could swap out $20 for a different amount in Subway for a different restaurant or establishment and get the same result every week in my voicemails. You know, like it's pretty fucking nuts how many people just steal from work, dude. I mean, more power to them, though. I have great news, though. The head bear stuffer at Build-A-Bear has just replied to my text. So we're going to go ahead and ring him up. The lead bear stuffer, dude.
Hello.
Yo, I heard you're the fucking lead bear stuffer at Build-A-Bear, yeah?
Yes, sir. This is true. Well, ex lead bear stuffer.
Wow. Well, you're on the Gobcast. You mind being recorded?
Not at all.
I'm kind of intrigued by your voicemail, dude. I listened through it. First and foremost, I have a question about being a head bear stuffer at Build-A-Bear. Is that was that like a real promotion or just something they made you go do? Like, were you like getting more money for that?
No, yeah. So not even joking. When I first started there, I was, I don't even remember the term for it, but I was the dude who dressed up your bear. So someone else stuffed it, and then you came to me, and I would help you pick out the outfit, the shoes. I'm there to upsell you, really get you to spend your mom's hard-earned Christmas money dressing the bear, and I got really good at that. And so they wanted me to start that upsell process at the bear stuffing so you could do like the voice recorded memos and shit. So it was a legit promotion, and it came with a nickel raise, 5 cents an hour.
No. Wait, the way you just described this has just blown my mind, though, because you sound like a fucking used car salesman talking
That's
about
what
selling
they kind of were
bears.
training you to be.
What the fuck?
I think there's a direct pipeline from Build-A-Bear to like Honda or Ford, where they really teach you how to like find the little ways to get the bells and whistles and convince you that your mom might not love you enough if she doesn't spend that extra money on the Honda.
So wait, management is encouraging you to upsell at every stage of the process at Build-A-Bear?
You have quotas. This is back
There's
in
quotas at
2011.
Build-A-Bear?
I had a quota
Shut the
for how
fuck
many
up.
shoes and items I sold.
There's no way, Build-A-Bear. Dude, that's actually unfucking believable. You're just a really aggressive, like, fucking pyramid scheme salesman, except, like, all the recipients of your pitch have their children hostage in this sales pitch. Like, that's actually very fucked up when you think about it.
Where it's like, the kid starts getting shoes, and they remind you to like, hey, if you see a kid get shoes, remind them that, well, you really need socks. So that way they get the socks underneath the shoes. If the bear starts putting on pants, you can remind them that like you need the underwear to go underneath the pants. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God. Did you ever like really have to manipulate a kid's emotions to close that sale?
I would do a lot of just like telling them how sick their thing looked, or like, especially with boys. Boys were kind of like, you could tell them like their thing needed an accessory, right? Like a football or a glove. And if he's getting the glove, like, cause he's a baseball kid, well, he's got to get the bat and the ball and the glove.
Of
my favorite
course.
thing to actually manipulate were the high school kids who were coming in to like try to like impress their sweetheart, right?
Ooh.
So like, oh, it's date night. You take her to the mall. You maybe saw a movie at the mall, and now you walk by Build-A-Bear. And it's, I'm a high schooler at this point. I'm 18. I'm broke too. I make $100 a week. It's no living.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to get the kid who came in and like would pick out like the $12 teddy bear for his girl, and then try to like flirt with the girl and tell her how cool it would look if he spent all his extra money on like the accessories and dressing it up.
Oh yeah, that was probably effective, huh?
Yeah, because I was kind of bitter that, like, it's Friday night, I'm at Build-A-Bear making no money, got to stuff this bear, and you're in here with a fine honey dressing it up. I'm going to make it cost some money.
Wow. I mean, it sounds like you should have just gone into sales, dude. How did you end up stealing fucking jewelry out of a safe at your next job? Like, what?
Well, that's what led me. I actually got recruited by the jewelry store.
They came and so they saw you hustling at Build-A-Bear, and they're like, dude, we see your talent. Like, you got to come over to jewelry.
Yeah, they're like, do you like watches? Do you want to come sell some watches and chains? And like, it was one of the, so you know, like the rinky-dink old mall on the other side of town, and like in the middle of that mall near the food court, there's like a jewelry kiosk store.
Yes.
It just kind of has a couple like Indian dudes in it.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, I used to work in the mall ecosystem when I worked at Bath Planet selling bathtubs. I get it. 100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got recruited by those Indian dudes to come like sling stuff out of their store.
Interesting career shift from Build-A-Bear.
Oh yeah. It was definitely a step up on the Ritz, you know. I felt like I had maybe started making my way to the high life. You know, I went from $12 bears to $150 Casio watches. It was levels to it, you know.
Were you making more money too? Like, what was the pay structure on this job?
Yeah, so when I was at Build-A-Bear, I left Build-A-Bear. I want to say I was making $7.35 an hour.
Oh, that's fucked.
And I started at the jewelry store. My dude, they said, "Hey, come work for us. We'll give you a raise." $8.50. $8.50 an hour. Suddenly, I could go out on the weekend.
Let's
a little bit of
go.
fun money. It was fun money, if you know what I mean. I could smoke a little doobie on a Saturday. So I was there.
Wait, how long ago was this though? Like, what was the buying power of that $8 an hour? Like,
So this was back in 2012.
oh yeah, we're outside.
We're outside.
America
I'm working
was
a
still a
Friday and I'm
country.
buying a
Oh
video game.
yeah. Okay, fuck yeah. So
It was cush. You could see why I jumped on it.
yeah, $8.50 in 2012, dude. You're hooping. You're hooping.
Let me just say, when the boys wanted to go out to Taco Bell, I bought.
That shit
And
is on
boy,
you, dude.
Did I start getting more friends that year?
So the $8.50 evidently was not enough though, because you stole tens of thousands of dollars worth of jewelry from the safe.
So that was the slippery slope. And what had happened was, initially, you know, I started making a little money. I started feeling a little good. And I'm like, you know, someone like me, a playboy, I need a little jewelry myself, but I'm still broke, right?
Oh, okay.
And like, we had this part in the safe. And like, I had to go in and out of the safe all the time, because that's where, when I finish a repair, you put it in there until the customer comes and picks it up, right?
Yep.
And then there's like a back part of the safe that is for like, hey, this customer hasn't been here in like 6 months. Maybe they're on vacation, maybe who knows what. And a couple of times I started realizing that like I had been there like 7 months and like half that shit had never been touched. So I was like, okay, these people are like gone. Started going digging through it one day and noticed that like some of this shit has been in here for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. This person doesn't know they have it. And like, I wasn't trying to steal it at first. I was just like, let me borrow this to wear it out on a Friday night.
You would just
I was
slide it
going
back
out.
in after going
I
out.
wanted to feel like Big Pimp.
So you
So
didn't even start with
I took a
malicious
chain
intent.
and I took a bracelet. You know, I wore them.
Uh-huh.
Everyone complimented me. I felt like I was finally made it. The money was finally mine. If I could just envision it, it was kind of like a fake it till you make it kind of idea.
Yep.
But I kind of forgot to return it. And a couple weeks later, I really wanted to get high and realized that I just had this extra gold jewelry with me. So I pawned it. And it was like, I don't know, $1,200, $1,500. It wasn't crazy because I didn't take anything big. You know, I took like a little tiny dainty chain.
But that's a
Just a
lot of
chain.
money still. Like $1,200 to $1,500 is a lot of cash, especially if you're just trying to get high.
Back in 2012, it was a new pair of shoes. It was a new pair of tires on the car. You know what I mean? Like, I was good.
Mhm.
But then that was just like way too easy, way too quick. And I realized that like no one had ever noticed it. So I kind of I picked my times. I went through the returns. I identified items that people had probably died. You know, there's a reason it's been here 4 years plus. And over the next like 6 months before I moved away, because it was like I was also in my small shitty town and I was about to move anyways.
Mhm.
So like right before I left, I kind of just made sure I had plenty of pocket money because I noticed that no one noticed anything ever.
Oh, dude, I would have cleaned that safe out.
I just, you know, I don't want to say that I did, but I know that I took at least a couple of really nice items that for a while I didn't work when I moved. I was just kind of a bum who smoked. It was great.
What was the single largest amount you took at once out of the safe, like approximately, if you had to say?
It was a single item, and it was a
shit.
like solid gold necklace, right? But it wasn't like a chain.
Okay.
It's really weird because instead of being like chain links, it was just like someone had hammered a gold bar into a wearable thing. And then down in the center of it, it just had one fat fucking diamond. And
Shit.
I did manage to sell that to another jewelry store down the road. I don't remember exactly, but I know it was over 12.
12,000?
Yeah.
What? Brother, how are you not in prison?
You know, I thank God every day for the mistakes I made as a young adult that I have not yet had to pay the consequences yet of. So,
I mean, dude, this happened in 2012. You're chilling. You're
I think there's like
chilling.
statutes of limitations. You know what I mean?
You're far beyond that. Yeah, the only time statute of limitations doesn't expire is like when you fucking kill somebody. Like stealing this neck. No, you're good, bro. You're home free. You were home free before COVID even hit. Like you're chilling, dude.
Blessings.
Wow. So you're stealing all this. At any point, were you thinking like I'm about to get caught, or like this one was too much, or like were you always just smooth sailing?
No, that's why I fucking stopped, because like it got to the point where like I'm sitting there fucking chewing my fingernails every day at work going, this is the day, and like looking back at it, there was never like they had zero fucking clue. Like it was like the owners didn't pay attention to shit there. I'm pretty sure it was a money laundering operation or some weird thing, right? Because like they didn't pay attention to half the shit going on anyways.
Yeah.
And they definitely never checked this like back return thing. But like I was panicking all the fucking time. I started like, you know, you start chain smoking cigarettes every 10 minutes, you know, every time you're allowed to go outside, because you're like, maybe today, maybe the day, you know. Oh, we hear the boss is coming in later. Oh shit. Oh, what's it gonna be about? Does he know? But yeah, nothing ever happened.
Wow, you hit the greatest heist, dude. I guess if I want to go steal some jewelry, I shouldn't rob the store. I should just go work for the mall stand.
Yeah, go work for the mall stand with the owner who lives overseas that's never there, and you want a manager who's 2 years older than you, also some slubby 20, 21-year-old who's just trying to fucking pay his bills.
Damn, you think he was ever doing that shit too?
You got to imagine that I could not have been the only one. I think it might have been one of those things where like everyone had their own little thing going on there that as long as no one saw the other person, it was all good.
Yeah, everyone's just pillaging from that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, well, you know, I appreciate you calling in and sharing, and I'm really glad you got away with it successfully, because, I mean, coming up on 12 grand in one piece is kind of disgusting when you really think about it. And
yeah, I got to say, it's been a pleasure getting this off my chest. It's been weighing on me, not too heavily, but from time to time I do think about it. And it's one of those things I'm not too proud that I did.
Yep.
You know, so it feels good. It feels good to talk it out.
Did those guys ever, like, after you quit, did they ever contact you again? Have you ever had to speak to them about, or like, no?
I did get an email like 3 years later that was saying that they wanted to talk to me, and I just ignored the fuck out of it. So I didn't know if that was like, could have been related to that.
Oh, God. No. What else could it have been? I mean,
I had moved, you know, I was in another state, you know, what are they going to do?
Dude, what if they like, what if there's like a warrant in your home state?
I'll just never go back, man. That's always been the goal, right?
True. Fuck yeah. Well, you know what? I appreciate you calling in and sharing. And honestly, I also appreciate you shining a light on the Build-A-Bear racket. Because that's something I've never heard about. I didn't realize it was a sales job like that.
You should start investigating how there's still so many Build-A-Bears and what kind of profit they're claiming to return year over year. And then you should go to your local mall. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. There's no one there.
Do you think they're doing something dirty?
I think them, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Long John Silver's are all in on it together.
All right, I can agree with you on Build-A-Bear. Bed Bath & Beyond, I actually reject. My entire all my aunts go there a lot, dude. And they spend a lot of money in there. They spend a lot of money in there, dude. It's an anti-store.
All right, we'll let it slide for now, but Mattress Firm needs to be investigated.
For sure. Long John Silver's is kind of good, too. Like, if you haven't tried it, honestly, I used to be a hater until I tried it, and I'm not a hater anymore.
I'll give it a second opinion. You've convinced me.
It's not bad, dude. I'm telling you, the hush puppies are decent. It's not bad. I've eaten worse, dude. I mean, honestly, I'd say like fucking Jack in the Box is worse.
Are you a tartar sauce enjoyer?
Yeah.
How do you feel about like mayo with no relish in it? So it's just regular plain old mayo.
I mean, that's cool depending on the context. I don't know. I mean, you know, I guess.
Would you consider aioli a real sauce?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
probably. I'd say.
Okay. All right.
Why would you not? Is it not a real sauce?
No, you just tell a lot about a man based on if he considers mayo a real condiment or not. And it's wide variations like tartar sauce and aioli.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, mayo is a component of many things, and it can also stand on its own legs. So that's what's so special about it. You know?
Yeah, it's very wise.
I appreciate that. Well, thanks for calling in, and hopefully your employer never watches today's episode. Your past employer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
That guy needs to go work at a car dealership, dude. He is seasoned for it. And also, I love that guy was talking about how he got recruited at the Build-A-Bear workshop in the mall to go work at the stand. Because, dude, I'm telling y'all right now, working in a mall, the malls are their own ecosystems. They are their own bubbles. It is a cutthroat environment, and the businesses will scalp employees from each other at the mall. The amount of times that I got approached for different random sales jobs when I worked in a mall was unfucking believable. It was insane. They hustle in the mall. A lot of those jobs are commissioned, but I guess I just never thought about the economics of Build-A-Bear and it being a sales job, but that makes sense when he put it together. Trying to upsell on all the, you know, accessories for the bear and for the boys, you know, he would upsell the sports things like, oh, he needs a baseball bat, but wait, he needs a ball and a fucking glove too. Like, now he needs a baseball hat and a baseball jersey, you know, that's 5 accessories. Like, what a hustle. Holy shit. That's just like the equivalent of like some guy probably sat down. He probably worked for 20 years at a car dealership. He sat down. He's like, how can I open a car dealership for children? And he sat and thought about it. He's like, I can't sell them cars they can't drive yet. Fucking teddy bears, you know, and just ran it up. What a brilliant hustle that is, actually. Next voicemail we have, I wanted to play and listen to, honestly, not because we really want to call him back. You know, I'm going to be honest. This one, I don't think we need to call him back because he gets his point across straight here in the voicemail. But I'm more so playing this because I want to speak on this topic because I think of this often myself.
What up, Gobby? The topic today is things you got away with. Back in 2017, me and my boys used to order carts online. First off, we paid in Bitcoin, so those are the most expensive carts known to man. Those would probably be like $10,000 carts nowadays, but we were just spending Bitcoin on carts, but we'd order it to my homie's neighbor's house. And then on the delivery day, we'd camp his mailbox and wait for the post office to show up. Well, the post office shows up, we go to get the package one day, and his neighbor comes out and starts yelling at us. So we sprint up the street, jump some fences. My homie ends up getting attacked by a dog. But that's just the start of the story. If you want to hear more, let me know. It was truly an eventful evening.
Listen, the main reason I listened to this is not because of his homie getting bitten by a dog or anything, but because he talks about buying shit on the deep web with Bitcoin in 2017. And I really also, the transcript cut off half of this voicemail. The last word in the preview I was able to read was camping the mailbox. So I didn't even realize there was more to that story. So maybe we will actually call him in a minute. But when I look back at the amount of Bitcoin I used to load up and go spend on Alphabay or Hansa back in the day, buying the stupidest shit. Buying like, dude, I'd get like a quarter ounce of weed shipped to me in the mail, risking a fat felony for a quad, right? Or like, I remember I got like an 1/8 of Molly one time. That shit was lit. I got a sampler. I got 1 gram of Molly shipped to me and delivered to a P.O. box in the lobby of my local post office. Like, I was a dumbass, dude. But when I look back, when I was doing this, Bitcoin was like $2,000. And I vividly remember it was like early 2017, before the first time it broke $10,000. That happened in late 2017, but like early to mid 2017, I was on probation ordering hella shit on the deep web. And when I look back at it, the amount of money that I spent, if we scaled it up to where Bitcoin's at today, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars in value now. That if I just bought that Bitcoin and sat on it, I would be, you motherfuckers wouldn't hear from me. Honestly, you should be grateful I didn't do that because this show wouldn't exist. I'd be on an island and I'd own it myself, dude. It would be absolutely sick. None of you guys would ever see me again. It would be beautiful, dude. I'd be out there drinking coconut water and, I don't know, having luau's and shit. But that shit was never, it's the most painful thing in my life, the amount of money. I remember I ordered at one time like a pound of trim. I got an ounce of some Obama Kush that was supposedly really good. Back when Obama Kush was like super hype. It was like, yo, they named this shit after a president. And it was the most purple weed I'd ever seen. So it was like, holy fuck, perfect 2016, 2017 weed, you know? Fucking got an ounce of that, got a pound of trim. I ordered some Molly at the same time. All together, I remember that being around like 0.3 Bitcoin. Oh, it was like 0.3 or 0.4 or something like that. In today's money, that's almost $50,000. So that's the most expensive re-up I ever did if we're looking at today's current value. This guy talks about the most expensive cards known to man. I feel your pain, brother. I feel and all those markets got shut down, and thankfully I was just some dumb kid ordering weed and small amounts of Molly and other, you know, acid I got blow a couple times off the deep web, but it was all such small amounts that like, yeah, 100% the feds got me on a list, dude. I know when I had Tom Simon on the show, I know damn well he had a notepad and a wire under that suit, but like, whatever, you know, I'm good nowadays. I'm very lucky. There was a kid that I knew back in the day who he allegedly, the rumor, this is probably exaggerated, but there is some truth to it. There's a kid I knew back in the day. He was like a mutual friend of a friend kind of thing. He went to a school in our district, and he was like the acid plug. Like he was the man, more so than any of my friends, anyone I knew directly. This guy was apparently getting like 5 to 10 sheets like every other week, you know, which was a ton of motion for us. Like this guy's getting rid of 500 to 1,000 tabs every, like he's making a ton of money. And apparently he had a bunch of Bitcoin. And one day they did a controlled delivery on this guy, raided his house. I'm pretty sure that guy's still in prison. He had like just turned 18 when they completely fucked him in the ass. And as far as I'm aware, I mean, I guess I haven't kept up with him too much. He might be out by now. But as far as I'm aware, I think he's still locked up. What a crazy time. Are there even... Someone let me know in the comments, actually, because I'm genuinely curious. I've been tapped out of this game for so long. Are there even like actual secure darknet markets anymore, or has that entire thing been busted? Because I would imagine like the only markets left got to be ran by the federal government, dude. That's a honeypot, and they're about to come molest you and all your homies in your living room. You know, like that's what I imagine. But let's take a break real quick, actually, because I want to take a shot. So I'll be right back. All right, I just took a little shot, you know. For those of you guys who aren't aware, I usually like to loosen up for these episodes. I don't get drunk necessarily like I do on Crackheads, but I would take a shot or two, you know. I think it's better for filming. I mean, hey, Brandon Novak, I think I even took a shot before that guy got here. And that guy probably would have tomahawked his fucking novel at me if he found out I did that. But either way, the next caller we have is someone who... I don't know if they understood the topic today because it's things you got away with, but he talks about being detained by the police department and spitting on cops, which doesn't mean you got away with it because you got arrested. So I am more intrigued at why you spit on the, you know, that doesn't, when you're already in custody, like that's not going to do it. It's not like, oh, he spit on me, dude. Let's let him go.
Hey, Gobby. So I got a story about when I was illegally detained by the PD, and they, sorry, I'm fucking high as shit right now. They did a bunch of shit that was violating my rights and shit, didn't read me my Miranda, and so when they put me in the back of the cop car, I did a bunch of shit and allegedly spit on the 2 officers up front. So if you want the full story, give me a call back.
I'm really intrigued at why he spat at them because I've watched a lot of those body cam clips on YouTube. I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well. And like, Dude, hella people spit on the cops, and they just put you in that silly little spit hood. Like, then you just end up looking like a silly guy. I don't know. Either way, let's call him up. I heard you're a spitter, not a quitter. Or you're a spitter and no, you are a quitter. Yeah. Wait, being a spitter is quitting. Yeah. I fucked it up. Uh-oh.
Hello?
Yo, I heard you be spitting on people. You mind being recorded?
Oh my god, yeah, no problem, man.
So why are you spitting on the cops? What happened? Fill me in on this. Cause I actually, before I even hear about this, I gotta say, you technically didn't get away with this because you got arrested, correct?
No, actually, they took me and they put me on a 5150, and I got away with all the charges.
Okay, I don't know if getting 5150 is getting away with it, but that's all right. You know, I guess we'll take it. So fill me in. What happened?
So basically, me and my dad used to fight a lot, like when it comes to arguments and shit. And one morning, he woke up kind of hungover. I don't blame him. I've been there. He woke up being a dick. We were arguing over some stupid shit, and got to the point where he tackled me to the floor, and so I went in my mom's bedroom and I grabbed her little handheld taser. And so I was like zapping it at him, not like actually getting him with it, but just zapping it at him to get him out of the house so I could call the cops.
Yep.
And I called the cops, and when the cops got there, I don't know why the fuck he said this. He told the cops that I tried to stab him with a knife.
Oh.
Now, I understand why he may have said that, because while he was charging at me, trying to tackle me to the floor, I may or may not have grabbed like a butter knife out of the silverware drawer just out of fear.
Okay. So you did have a knife, but it was a butter knife.
I dropped it immediately because he tackled me.
Wait,
and
so
he was like charging at me.
So you had the butter knife initially, he tackled you, and then you deployed the tactical taser?
No. So he was like charging at me, basically. I ran into the kitchen, grabbed the butter knife out of fear. Oh shit, my phone's about to die too. Oh fuck.
Uh-oh. Do you have a charger?
Yup.
Oh yeah, plug that up. Plug that up.
Alright, it's plugged in. So yeah, he was charging at me. I ran into the kitchen, grabbed the butter knife out of fear. He tackled me to the floor. I dropped it immediately, basically, because he fucking tackled me.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of his, like, headlock or whatever, ran to my mom's bedroom, grabbed the taser, and was like, get out, basically. Like, get the fuck out of the house. I called the cops. I told them basically exactly what happened. I even told them about the butter knife.
Uh-huh.
They get there. They're talking to me. They're talking to my dad, probably like 30 minutes. They all come up to me and they're just like, hey, can you stand up real quick? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Slap cuffs on me.
Oh.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? And then at that point, they get me into the back of the cop car. And this is what pissed me off. And low-key, I had fucking terrible temper growing up.
Mm-hmm.
They kept making fun of my Tourette's and shit.
Oh, shit.
Making fun of the fact that I was special needs.
Oh.
And so you've been in the back of a cop car, correct?
Yeah.
So you know, like the metal cage that's in the back?
Wait, are you the same guy who called in 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Oh my God. All right. Well, okay. Keep it pushing. All right. I had to get some clarity on that. Keep it going.
Yeah, no, that was me. So I used to be like 190-pound like fat kid when I was like fucking 12 years old up until like.
Wait, you're the guy who threw the fucking chair.
17. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Oh, so you be crashing out. All right. Welcome back. All right. So continue.
Oh, yeah. No, I was a professional crash out growing up, so got them stories on lock. So yeah, I used to be fucking fat as shit and weigh a lot, so I basically scooted myself down all the way in the seat till like my back was like basically sitting where my butt was, and I just started fucking pounding on the back of the cage with my feet, just both fucking feet, full force, full weight into it. And I eventually fucking bashed the cage like off the hinges in the cop car, just open enough where I could spit like right in the cop's face that was driving. And I fucking, I think I spit on him probably 3 or 4 times before he pulled over. And then the second he turned around to look at me and tell me to stop, I spit in his face, like, directly.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and low-key, what I was thinking at that moment was, number one, they already violated my rights because they didn't read me my Miranda. So, kind of at that point, it was a weird legal stance where whatever I do, it's
so
going to be a weird way of determined in court.
You know what I learned recently, actually?
What's that?
They only have to read that to you if they're asking you questions. I learned about that recently because I had the same thing happen to me, and I remember thinking like, "Yo, like, what the hell? They totally violated me." But they didn't ask me anything, and like nothing they asked me could have been used anyways. But when they arrest you, yeah, they can just take your ass. Like they don't have to read you your rights technically.
Fucked.
It is fucked up.
Fucked.
Yeah.
But I was also thinking at the moment too, I was like, low key, they're probably going to take me to jail. So I was like, might as well make myself look as crazy as possible because I have an easier time getting out of a 5150 than I do getting out of jail.
So you just decided to completely snap.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? Fuck it.
Did you get the spit hood?
Huh?
Did they put you in the spit hood?
No.
Oh.
I sat on them fuckers the whole way to the ER.
And they just fucking took it?
Yeah, basically. Because it was the Sacramento fucking Sheriff's Department. They don't really do shit.
Oh. I mean,
and
like,
the craziest part about it is when I got out of the 5150, like a couple weeks later, because they discharged me after like 2 days. They were like, yeah, no, honestly, like, they should have taken your dad to jail. It was their fault. Because my dad was, like, actually the aggressor in the whole situation, apparently. And a couple weeks later, I got handwritten letters from both the officers saying, like, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to, like, be offensive or discriminate towards your special needs, even though they're, like, in their squad car calling me a fucking retard that have Tourette's.
They wrote you letters after you spat on them?
Yeah. Yes.
What?
Yes, swear to God.
Oh.
It was fucking crazy.
Damn, well, I mean, it sounds like you're pretty good at crashing out, dude. You throw chairs at teachers, you be spitting on cops and shit. You're about to tase your dad. Like, damn, dude, this is just a lifestyle.
Yep. I got other stories too of other fucking crazy shit I've gotten away with when it comes to cops. Like, I got away with armed robbery charges just about a year ago.
What, did you just spit on him a bunch of times too?
No, low-key, that one was crazy. Me and 2 of my other friends just walked to Winco, which was like our local grocery store, to grab like a bottle of Tiki Punch. Because we were trying to go home and mix up drinks. But we needed soda. So we just walked to the store, and we were all wearing ski masks. Don't get me wrong. I live in Nevada. Nevada doesn't outlaw those. They have no law against them, and it was 30 degrees out in the winter. And so we walked in. I walk in wearing the ski mask. I'm on a first-name basis with the store manager. He knows it's me. He's like, what's up? I'm like, what's up, dude? We go buy the soda. I come out. I see Sparks PD parked on one of the sides, and I like literally just wave at him, and I throw up like a heart sign. And he drives all the way around the fucking parking lot and comes into like the KinderCare that's right next to the store parking lot. And then he like blocks us in, and he gets out, and the first thing he says is he draws his gun, and he's like, if any of you try to fucking run, I'm going to shoot you in the back of the head. Which Sparks PD has a terrible tendency for doing shit like that. And then a second car came in, a third, a fourth, a fifth, and then a sixth with a canine unit. And they basically sat us all down and were talking to us and shit like that and blah, 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 blah. And I eventually asked them, I was like, why'd you stop us? And they're like, we got a call for armed robbery. I'm like, no, you didn't. And they were trying to say my one friend that his name was Hosea, and he was an illegal immigrant because he had a Mexican name, which was crazy work. my other friend, he's terrified because he's on probation. I eventually talked to them, and they let us go, but it was fucked because they were all trying to search us and shit. And I wasn't there to rob the store. I went there to buy soda, but allegedly, I totally did possibly have a gun and brass knuckles in my pocket. So I was not trying to get searched.
Yeah, you can't allow that to happen.
Mm-mm.
Damn, well.
But Nevada's an open carry state, and they allow you to have that. So.
Well, yeah, but I mean, was the gun yours?
No.
No, well, yeah, there you
Allegedly,
go.
no.
You can't open carry that. Damn, well, I hope maybe in the future you just crash out a little less.
Yeah, no, I've been better at it lately. I haven't had that many crash outs. It's been a good while. So I've definitely grown up.
You ever try Xanax?
A lot of these stories were from like when I was hella young.
You ever try taking a Xan?
You know what's funny? I've actually had a Xanax prescription since I was 10 years old. They used to give me 60 of them a month of the 2 milligram bars.
Ooh.
I still get them actually every month. I only get 30 of them now. But I low-key don't take them. Like they don't work with me the way they used to, number one. And then number two, like I feel like I'm kind of an asshole when I'm on those. I know I'm an asshole.
Yeah, that
does
happen. That does happen.
Yeah.
Makes you kind of not care about anything. Damn, well,
yup.
I got to say, I appreciate you calling in 2 weeks in a row. Maybe, if you got something to speak on for the next prompt, whatever it ends up being when I post it, I'll talk to you again soon, yeah?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I'm hella down.
Hell
good
yeah.
talking to you, man.
Yeah, good talking to you too. You have a good rest of your day.
You too, Gabi. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Dude, I knew his voice sounded familiar, but it's really impossible to tell because there's just so much voice compression when you talk to someone on a normal phone call. Like everyone sounds like shit. So it is kind of hard to tell. But once he mentioned the Tourette's, I perked up a little bit. And then he was like, and I'm special needs. And I immediately knew. I was like, okay, you're the guy who tomahawked a chair at a teacher. Like, I remember you, dude. How could I possibly forget? The next voicemail is something that actually also happened to me. So I want to play this one because I can relate to this voicemail and speak on it. Let's listen in.
Hey, Gabi. Just wanted to call in and tell you about the time that I got a call from a postal inspector letting me know that my box had been seized. Got away with it. Still think about it a lot because could have gotten in some trouble, but just glad nothing happened. Hope to hear from you. Peace.
So the reason I played this one is because this is the exact reason I don't have a P.O. box. It's not just a precautionary thing of like, oh, I think that could happen to me. Back in 2017, while I was on probation, during the era I was talking about earlier, where I did get a couple things shipped to this P.O. box that I probably shouldn't have, but I also was using it as just a public address as a P.O. box. And in my brain, I thought I was being brilliant. So I was like, dude, I can get fan mail here and like they'll fucking, it's all good. Like, I can get fan mail here, and if anything gets shipped to me and I get in trouble, I could just be like, dude, a fan sent it, and just fuck it, who cares? I don't know who sent that. This is my public P.O. box. I thought I was being smart. In reality, I was being really stupid. But essentially, I published my P.O. box number, started getting some mail, ended up getting a bunch of really weird shit. There was one guy who sent me a plastic bag full of thermite with a fuse and instructions on how to detonate it, which I did in my mom's garage. And I learned really quickly that you shouldn't light thermite indoors. Luckily, I only did a very small amount. Otherwise, I legitimately would have burnt my whole house down. Some guy started sending me parts to build a bicycle. Like it was like he disassembled the bike and just started sending me parts. But eventually one day I had gotten a call from the post office, and it was really unusual because the post office doesn't call you for anything unless you're about to go to prison. Like they don't give a fuck about you. They'll never call you. There's no customer service at the post office. Like if they lose your package, they don't call you. It's just like, hey, check your tracking or get fucked. So if they call you, it's like, oh God, I'm going to prison, right? I get a voicemail. I didn't answer the call, luckily, and it said something along the lines of like, hey, we need you to come in and sign for this package. They didn't say anything about a package getting seized, but they just asked me to come in and sign for this package at the front desk. They said, we need a signature for this package. And I wasn't waiting on anything. So I believe this is something that a viewer sent to me. Actually, no, I was waiting on a couple things. But I don't, like, they weren't supposed to come yet, right? So I believe this is something a viewer had sent me. Right. I'll never know because I never went to get the box, but I got that voicemail and immediately just never showed up to my P.O. box again. I never went in to collect a single piece of mail. There was probably more shit that was sent to me by you guys back in 2017 that never saw the light of day because I could not go back to the P.O. box was burnt. Listen, the post office doesn't call you to come in and sign for something at the front desk. Like, they're not going to call you and tell you to do that. It'll just show up on your tracking. Like, oh, you need to go sign for it. Oh, you need to pick it up. Ready for pickup. Like, there's no bro, they have 3 fucking employees in the whole box, in the whole post office, and one of them has to sort all the boxes. And the other one doesn't want to be there, okay? And the third one's wife probably just left him, right? Like, they don't give a fuck about you. They're not calling you. So I knew immediately shit was sketchy. And I had talked to a couple friends who had stuff seized, and they were like, yeah, you should not go in and sign for that. So I never fucking did. And I never again opened a P.O. box because looking back at it, those are the only 2 things that ever came out of it. A bunch of, thermite that almost burnt my mother's house down, and then a package that was so suspicious that the postal inspector tried to set me up. That's also how they do controlled deliveries, which is how they bust people ordering from the deep web. What they do is they make you sign for the package, because if they just deliver a box, you still have plausible deniability. A box just landing on your porch with your name on it is not enough to send you to prison, even if it has a pound of fucking crack in it, right? You have to acknowledge that you wanted this box, because anyone can just ship a box with anyone's name on it to any address. That's how the mail system works. With a fake return address, too. That's how it works. So, when you sign for a package, your plausible deniability is gone. There's no more like, oh, I didn't know. You put your name down saying, hey, I'm waiting for this box. This is my box. I'm taking this home. And that was something I luckily never went in and did, because if I did, ladies and gents, I probably would have gotten fucked and gone to prison. Maybe would have gotten some extra mugshot merch. Probably wouldn't have been half bad at the end of the day, but either way, had to do what I had to do. I had to avoid going in there. Ladies and gents, I think it's time for us to read some comments. I think it's time for us to check out our beautiful, beautiful comments today. And I have pulled some of my favorite comments I think we've ever read on the show this week. In particular, we're going to start off with a comment from Michael1113, who did something that I encourage you all to follow up and also do. Michael didn't want to call into the show, but he was unable, so he figured he'd tell his story in the comments instead, which is something I would love to see you guys do. If you have something to speak on with this topic this week, something you got away with, let me know in the comment section below, and maybe I'll read it in the next caller episode. Tell me some stories. But Michael here says, perfect timing. And he commented this on our most recent caller episode before this one. Wish I could call about how my girl completely trashed my apartment today while I was at work, because she's crashing out over not being on FaceTime with me all work day, which is ridiculous. We FaceTime almost every day, and all she does is argue and complain about what I'm doing at work and this and that when she's jobless living off me. Have you guys ever had a homie who's in one of these relationships? Because I 100% have. I've been at multiple smoke sessions where, like, you got that one guy in on the roto who's just on the phone with his girl the entire time talking. They're like barely saying anything. Like, he's just on the phone with his girl, and you're all sitting there looking over like, why? Like, no one's going to say like, why are you on FaceTime? But everyone's just kind of like, why are you on FaceTime the entire time we're talking? Like, I can't even say anything real in this scenario. Like, if I see a beautiful woman, walk past and I say, oh, she's hot, your girlfriend is probably going to hang up the call, get in her mom's car, and pull up and shoot us with her mom's gun. And I'm just not going to do that. But either way, Michael says, I'm going to just leave and get the apartment evicted so she can become homeless, since the reason we live together is her mom kicked her out and I took her into my parents' house for a month before we got our spot. Michael, you can do better, dude. His profile picture is actually him doing a money spread, if you look closely there. So, dude, you don't need her, Michael. You can do better. I know a lot of women here in Los Angeles that will fuck you for that much money in that picture, I encourage you to make your girl homeless. But he says, mind you, She hasn't had a job for the past 6 months we've been living there, and she's also 25 with no license and no way to get a job unless I take her. So yeah, pretty fucked. Love you, Goblin. More like Godlin, because you saved my day at work with what my girl just did to all my belongings. That's just got to be fire for you to put up with it, dude. I'm not going to lie. I mean, she's got to be doing tricks on it every fucking day. That's the only reason I can imagine you putting up with this, because you're sitting here and you're like, dude, this bum-ass bitch, she can't even get a job, this fucking hoe. She has no license, dude. You're just flaming her up. But yet, I guarantee he's probably still with her. They made up for sure, dude. He went home. They made up, dude. He might have even deleted this comment by now. Next up, from Don't Matter 8,444. He says, genuinely thank you for educating people on the fact that it's not only THC percentage that matters. I've been saying this for years, and half the time I say it, I get called an idiot. I mean, listen, man. I think people who go to the dispensary and they buy weed based on THC percentage, obviously they're only after one thing, which is potency. But if you're really only after potency, then THC percentage is far from what you should be focusing on. I would argue that the overall terpene percentage is much more important. I've smoked a lot of weed in my life, as you guys have probably seen, and from what my research has concluded, I typically am going to get higher off something that's testing 18 to 20%, but also, a flower, for example, is testing 18 to 20%, but putting out 2 to 3% terps, versus smoking some industrial-ass 30, 35% THC flower that's putting out 1% terps, if even, I'm going to get way higher on that lower THC, higher terp, because it's the full spectrum is what gets you stoned. And the spectrum of cannabinoids is what determines your type of high. Sativa and indica, what do you think makes the difference between a strain? What do you think the difference between sativa and indica is? It's not percentage of THC. It's the terp profile. That's really what you got to look for if you're trying to get high. When I was younger, I did the same thing. I totally get it. I didn't even know what a terp was, bro. I barely knew what indica and sativa were when I was younger. Like, hash, I don't know what that is. Resin, I thought it was I thought they were the same thing. Like someone, I thought it was like tomato, same goddamn thing. It took me years to figure out that's not true. But same thing when I was younger. I used to try to buy off THC percentage, and it wasn't until I really learned like what to look for in flower that I started truly getting blasted. People always talk about, oh, my tolerance is so high, I can't, I don't even smoke weed anymore. And I think a lot of the time it's not even your tolerance doing that so much as it is you're just not smoking the right stuff for you. Everyone's body reacts differently to different terps and different strains and all that kind of shit. And fuck THC percentage. Just do a little more research. Next up, we have Thumbster816, and he says, I just crashed out on a debt collector for interrupting me watching this shit. Thumbster, yo, I'm going to put you on right now with my absolute very, very favorite anti-debt collector strategy, okay? My favorite anti-debt collector strategy. Listen, I have time to waste a debt collector's time, and I will do it aggressively. I'll answer the phone and I'll act like there's some sort of lag or like I can't hear them. I'll just be like, hello? Hello? And they'll stay on for a shocking amount of time. Most of them are not impatient. Like they'll sit there and do the dance with you. If you just say hello over and over, they're going to hang up pretty quick. But I mean, where's my phone? I get so many debt collector calls. I might get one while we're filming. Let me make sure my ringer's on just in case we do, because I'll show you a live example. But when, debt collectors call me, I'll typically just be like, hello, do you hear me? And then I'll maybe progress a little bit. I'll be like, what's going on? Make sure you never identify yourself. Don't say yes or no to your identity, because you want them to keep calling so you can waste all their employees' time. If you say no, you're not that person, they might stop calling you. You don't want to risk that. Don't confirm or deny an identity. Just, hello? Are you there? You hear me? Yeah, hello. Yeah, what's going on? Hello? Just do that dance. One time, I got someone to stay on for close to 5 minutes just doing that dance with me, and they crashed the fuck out. I heard a sigh, and they just hung up, and it's so satisfying. But that's not the only thing to do. If you want the calls to stop for the rest of the day and potentially even a few days, you have to start bombarding them back because they want you to call them back. So start spam calling them. and then just do it to all the agents. I have literally sat at my desk for an hour just calling my debt collector back over and over, getting different agents, sometimes the same one, you know, it's spread out until eventually they block my phone number. You can also just call, and as soon as they answer, just hang it up and just blow their system up, and they'll block you pretty quick. I am an expert debt collector avoider, okay? I will never pay my debt. Listen, I'm an honorary guy when it comes to paying people that I owe money to. But when it comes to business entities I owe money to, you can't lend me a fucking penny. You'll never see it again. In fact, I just today paid my traffic tickets, and the only reason I had to do it is because I need to go renew my registration. So checkmate. This is the first time I've had a car long enough for the registration to expire, because normally I crash them into something. But pro tip right there, if a debt collector calls you while you're watching the Gobcast, just pause the show and go waste their time. Go ahead and do it. They're a debt collector. They're not a human, okay? They don't have rights. Go blow their day, you know? Next up on D's-Cum, or says D's-Cum here. He says, Gabi should low-key go on financial audit. You know, I've seen this comment numerous times. I think Caleb Hammer would probably flame me pretty hard. You know, if you've been watching my Clips channel or my Twitch streams, specifically my GameStop Power Pack openings, you would know that I probably deserve some of that flame. But also, I vividly remember this happening to me before, but I am like kind of old school in the sense of like, I don't like talking about how much money I make. It's one of those things like I don't bring it up. I don't talk about it. I mean, dude, I'm wearing a fucking Gap hoodie right now. I drive a Toyota Corolla. I don't really like talking about how much money I make. I don't really flaunt money or anything like that. I'm old schooled. And I remember when I was younger, when I first started getting bigger on YouTube, I think people are naturally curious about the money that this kind of job brings. So it's a question that I've gotten a million times in my life, but it always irks me when people ask me in person. I've been on dates with girls before where literally like, I'll tell them what I do and they're like, so how much money do you make? Like immediately off rip. And it's like, okay, if I told you I was a fucking corporate accountant, you wouldn't have just asked me that, you know? Like, it's only because I make a YouTube video. And if I go on one of those shows, then I have to kind of publicly out that stuff, which I don't want to do. I'm not trying to say I'm rich. I'm also not broke. I do well for myself thanks to you guys. But Caleb Hammer would flame me up is my response to the financial audit suggestion. He would cook me, dude. Especially, if he saw the company finances here, oh, we're fucked, dude. Holy shit, he would love it. I paid Kyle in Counter-Strike skins last month. He would love to see our books. Next up, Senpai Skate. He says, are there any plans for episode 100? I know it's a bit away, but I think if you and Kyle smoke crack again live on the pod and take calls, it would be a fun episode. Yeah, hey, easier said than done, Senpai Skate. I'm not entirely honest. I'm going to be completely real. If YouTube allowed it, I would genuinely probably do that. Like, just being completely straight up. Fuck it, dude. I would do it like one little hit. Like, fuck it. I already did it once. Second time is the charm in the drug world, though. That's what I say, at least. I was about to say that's what they say, but no, that's what I say. But when I think about episode 100, there's a couple tricks I have up my sleeve. I mean, I'm still pondering on it because we are 16 episodes away, which is about 4 months, give or take. So I'm definitely still pondering on it. I think I would like to do something with, someone more personal to me. Maybe have a guest on who I haven't had before, who is someone you've heard about my stories a lot, or do something that otherwise connects to my older content, and kind of what brought me here. I don't think I'm going to do something where I just get some like really famous guest on, although you never know. Maybe in the next 4 months, something really crazy lands in my lap. Like if I got the crack smoker himself, Hunter Biden, I'd absolutely make that an episode 100 special. You never know. In general, I'm going to try my best to make it special. That's what I will say. And also, even if I had something planned right now, I don't think I'd spoil it this far in advance. So just buckle up. We're rapidly approaching episode 100, and thanks for getting us here. Thanks for tuning in. Next up, we have Man Hathaway. He says, I had to take a second to read that name. He says, I was really hoping you would say you're going to post on YouTube through the community posts. I deleted all my socials years ago, and I'm hesitant to remake them after all my accounts were deleted. I've wanted to call in for so many prompts, but I always miss them. Listen, I'm going to say it right now. You got to want it out here, okay? You got to feed. You have to have that drive, have that desire to call into the show. We only posted on Instagram and Twitter. Those are the only two platforms I ever post when I'm taking calls. I get comments all the time from people that are like, I don't have Instagram. I don't have Twitter. What should I do, Goblin? You should fuck yourself. You know, I'm going to be honest. You should completely fuck yourself because that's just, you're shit out of luck, man. I'm going to be honest. Instagram or Twitter, that's how the world turns. You know, I appreciate you tuning in, though. But yeah, if you want to call in, I mean, dude, that's the only way to do it. And also, YouTube community posts, the issue is they don't really get to anybody. Like, you have to kind of seek them out. You don't go on your homepage and just see everyone's community posts. You might see one pop up from a creator you might follow every now and then, but they just don't get the reach that, like, when I post on Instagram, we get 1,000+ calls every day I post it just from Instagram alone. You know, I mean, today we got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls just from my main Instagram account, you know? So I don't think we need more calls necessarily. Like right now, honestly, we get more than I can even go through. Like I can't physically listen to as many calls as we get on these days, which is awesome. I appreciate that. But like, hey, more platforms brings more calls that I can't listen to. So next up, guestroomname.exe94. He says, I really want a remastered version of the Goblin mugshot hoodie, but with better fabric. I have a pink one and it goes hard, but it's getting a little ratty now. First and foremost, thanks for copping the merch. I appreciate that a lot. But also, I haven't dropped any new piece of merch in probably 2 to 3 years now. It's been a very, very long time since I've dropped any new merch. And I'd like to kind of announce here that that's going to be changing. I've been working on some merch, trying to kind of get back into it. We're going to have some all new stuff coming soon. Some beautiful stuff, higher quality stuff. For a while, it was kind of tough because COVID really fucked up the prices of clothing manufacturing. The cost of a blank t-shirt went from like $6 or $7 to like $12 to $13. And, okay. The only thing that's going off is my Ring camera. Deck collectors don't want me today. But you know, that makes it hard to sell shirts for a reasonable price. And it kind of was demotivating to me because then I raised my prices and then I got complaints about doing that. So I was like, fuck it, dude. Let's just make only gas and sell weed instead, you know? And now I'm like, okay, maybe we should start selling a little bit of merch. I get a lot of, me personally, like, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I'd buy YouTuber merch, but, like, I get a lot of comments from people that are like, dude, like, when are you dropping new merch? Like, I bought this merch. I love it. So people really like it. And, I mean, if people like something I do, I'm going to do it. So buckle up for a merch drop pretty soon here. You know, it's coming. 2026, I'd say. Not before the end of the year, but 2026. Next up in the comment section here, we have Counterculture Media. And Counterculture Media has a problem with the psych ward story that we got in our last caller episode, where that dude suddenly just brought up someone getting fucking decapitated. He says, I call BS on that psych ward story. They would have had that on the news. I can't find anything about news on psychiatric wards that had beheadings or decapitations as he described, and it wasn't coming up. Listen, before I even finish the rest of this comment, I'm just going to say something. I personally don't, like, the first part of his call is mainly what I wanted to focus on. And I think if you watch and you listen to how I reacted to that comment, you kind of can gather that pretty easily. But also, I don't think it's really my duty on the show to deem someone a liar or not. You know, that's for you guys to decide. And the only time I've ever done that is that guy we got a couple weeks ago who hung up mid-phone call when he was talking about, like, getting busted by undercover cops while taking a piss. You know, that was the dumbest phone call we've probably ever gotten on the show. But stuff like that, it's like, yeah, I agree with you, bro. That doesn't sound very realistic to me at all either. But, like, I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to say whether someone's a good or bad person. I'm not here to say whether someone's telling the truth or not telling the truth. I really just do this to listen. You know, I make these caller episodes and I take these phone calls to give you guys a platform to share your story. You know, you guys have sat here and you've listened to a million of my stories over the years. So this is kind of my way of being like, hey, it's your turn, bro. Like, come tell everyone else a story. You know, it's like we're all sitting around the campfire together. And sometimes I think people might get a little excited when, you know, they get the chance to come talk on the show, and maybe they might embellish things or they might exaggerate, thinking that it makes the call better and it makes them more likely to end up on the show. What I will say is, if I do call you back, we pretty much don't cut any of these calls unless someone's blatantly bullshitting or like their audio quality's horrible or they hang up mid-call. Then we cut it. But most of the time, like, I don't I don't cut calls and, discriminate like that. Like, oh, it sounded like that guy was lying. Let's cut that. We don't do that very often here. I just leave it out there. So don't feel like you have to exaggerate your story to get a call. Just tell it naturally. Some of my favorite phone calls on this show are the ones that aren't super crazy, but are just natural. Like, for example, today, one of my favorite conversations I've had in a while was the Build-A-Bear guy talking about how the racket, the quota he has to meet selling Build-A-Bear accessories. Like, that's amazing. I love hearing about little mundane shit like that. You don't always have to be like, yo, like someone got decapitated in my psych ward. Like, I don't, Either way, it's not my place to say whether that guy was lying, but I saw a lot of comments on last week's episode saying that. And in general, we get a lot of comments from people saying, oh, I think this person was lying. And hey, that's the way it goes. Maybe they were. I don't fucking know, dude. I wasn't there. But he continues this comment, and he says, maybe he's right and the news never saw it as they covered it up or something, but as far as I know, there's no records backing up his story. Considering a homicide in a psych ward is not commonplace, it would have easily made the news somewhere and be on the internet. Playing devil's advocate, HIPAA laws maybe. I don't know. HIPAA laws. But either way, if anyone finds an article proving me wrong, I'd love to read it. Yeah, at the end of the day, bro, I just pass that stuff on to you guys. There was also a lot of comments about that call that were like, Goblin, I can't believe you left that on the show. And that's more why I wanted to address it. Because, like, hey, it's not my place. I try my very best to make sure that we screen the calls and pick ones that are good and generally true. But hey, that had nothing to do with the guy's voicemail, so it's not like I could have predicted that was coming either. But, ladies and gentlemen, episode 84. It's been an absolutely wonderful time hanging out with you all on this fine Wednesday, or whatever day you're watching this episode. We're filming on a Wednesday, actually, coincidentally. And we also drop these on Wednesday, so maybe it is a Wednesday for you. But I really enjoyed my time here in the studio today. This has been a wonderful episode. Make sure you drop a sub if you haven't already, because we are rapidly approaching 300K. And also, if you haven't yet, make sure you check us out on Spotify, because all our episodes are completely uncensored on Spotify, and they pay us pretty good ad revenue. So it's a great way to support the show and enjoy it completely uncensored. YouTube, unfortunately, kind of forces us to bleep out some stuff. So thank you all for tuning in. Drop a like, drop a sub if you haven't already. Go enjoy all the other content. Crackheads, my main channel, my clips channels, all the other stuff. I'll see y'all next week. Deuces.
You're now watching the Gobcast. Viewer discretion is advised. You can now watch the Gobcast in 4K uncensored exclusively on Spotify.